Mount Pleasant was the hardest neighborhood in DC for almost 30 years. I established a street reputation at 13. I was the smallest and the lightest cat in the neighborhood. So when there was trouble and people mentioned the word Joe, they wanted to know was it Black Joe or Spanish Joe? Because we were Spanish speaking, so that's how I got the name Spanish Joe. Man, take it easy, Greasy. Life ain't that easy, man. Why y'all be messing? We already got life against us.
I said, take it easy, Greasy. Cause life ain't that easy. Where mariachi uncles don't know how to play to the universe and can't teach you to call extraterrestrials that will take you away. Take it easy, Greasy. Life is easy. When ET don't arrive, just play the scales that move you away from trash man stinks and salad boy hands and into musician dreams.
I had a 1951 Chevy in mint condition. Lord, that was the baddest mama jama car around. So I would put my bass in there and we would go to Rockery Park, go deep into the woods and literally start improvising or playing some grooves, you know, hoping that the ETs would come down to get us and take us out of the misery that we were in. Because, you know, I mean, this was still a real hard neighborhood. We were poor. We were just the bottom of the rung, you know, the bottom of the letters. Like, come on, y'all, man, y'all got to do something for us. Come on. My brother and I used to have a joke about it. Yo, Killer, you think we were gonna get to 19? I said, no, man. But we is 19 now. We got to 21. He goes, man, you thought we ever get to 21? I said, no, man. We didn't expect to live too long because of the violence that we were growing up in. When I got into this instrument, it took me away from hanging out with the cats because I literally went into it for like 5-6 hours daily, just trying to learn it on my own. Little by little, my friends and my brothers were dying and getting killed or getting heavier into drugs. And I was getting heavier into music. Of course, then they, you know, then they could talk, you know. The guitar players would play, then. Three chords, then. We knew the drums more than anything else because the drums were basically part of the everyday life. Everybody had a conga, quinto, and or a tumba at home. You understand? But some cats played guitar, like for example, Ernie and Miguel. Their uncle had the first mariachi band in DC. And he played guitar, you know, and he could play all the mariachi songs and all the Mexican folk songs. And they learned, you know, a few chords from him and blah, 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 cha-cha-cha. Everybody knew a little bit. So we would just jam, never thinking this, that, or the other, until Ernie, Rudy, and I got together and we were called Sour Cream. We decided, man, Sour Cream is too American, man. Why don't we get a name that really speaks who we are? And I thought, wow, you know, Zapata would be, he fought for his people. He fought for the land of the people. He fought against the government, American and Mexican governments, for the people. So we became Zapata. Man, I ain't played this in years. Slow riser. So that's what Zapata was known. We were known for all these grooves back in the late 60s, early 70s. And of course, we didn't know anything about music. We just know, my cat would give me a chord. And I go, oh, do it again. And I go, oh, I found it. You know, we would find the notes, and then I go. When we used to have battles of the bands late at night, I mean, they would go from like 2 in the morning till 6 in the morning, sometimes till 9 in the morning. You know, and the whole, anywhere we played, we would bring the house down. We opened up for some great flipping names. Miles Davis, Herbie Hancock, Ramsey Lewis, Weather Report, Isley Brothers. And we were the first Latin and black band in the history of DC. The first time we played down at Fort DuPont, it used to be just black, you see, back in '71. Southeast ain't seen no cats like us. And then, of course, the aggression and the dislike and all, you know, go back, fuck where y'all came from, man, goddamn, fuck, man. Rocks, bottles, boom, we were ducking. So Ernie gets on the microphone and says, fuck us, fuck y'all. We bring y'all hard funk, hard soul, hard Latin, and hard motherfucking fist. And we started with the drum. Man, you see this whole sea of black heads just, yeah, whoa, whoa. After that, they accepted us as the brothers that we were. And after that, every time we hit down Fort DuPont or Southeast, they were waiting for us. That was it. That was history in DC. A lot of people will not know that. And that's what I tell Samuel, I'm here to clean up some of the history that is not being told.
Take it easy, greasy. Life just ain't that easy. Not like nights in the park playing to the universe, waiting on E.T. to arrive and practicing the scales until the prick of the needle drives home the death of the music or the musician. The notes can't call healing out of the universe. That's what I've been telling you, bro. Just take it easy.
We would be in the park till late at night, and you could see the stars. So we started looking up at the universe from a whole different perspective, realizing that, man, we're not insignificant. Just the fact that we can realize the vastness and the beauty and the greatness of the universe that we were existing in gave us a little bit more importance than just, oh, y'all some ghetto kids, man. You know, or y'all ain't gonna amount to nothing. Or y'all some motherfuckers. No, man, we're more than that. We're beings in a great universe. And what if there were some ETs? Come on, y'all, man, what are you all waiting on, man? You know, we'll be looking up playing. Come on, they gotta be coming sometime soon.
Why jazz for you?
You know, it called me. When we opened up for Miles Davis, stupid me, I didn't know who Miles Davis was. It blew my fucking mind, seriously. I was walking with my head backwards. You know The Exorcist? That's how I was, serious. I was walking that way, but my head was looking that way. I had never heard, and I'm getting goosebumps, I had never heard music like that come out of anything. They blew my mind so bad that little me said, man, I'm gonna buy me a bass. Lawrence Wheatley, everybody knew him. He would just sit there, I mean, like literally. Looking at you dead in the eye. And he would intimidate every motherfucker.
See the stare, that Lawrence Wheatley stare, eyes behind sunglasses, shouldn't intimidate, except they do. especially when attached to fingers that stroke a beard in a dark club. And then bang out the history of the piano.
I knew his son, Lawrence Wheatley. We grew up together. And you know, he knew that I played in Zapata, but when I told him that I wanted to learn jazz, he goes, you know, my father's a jazz player. Maybe we should go visit him one day. So we went over his house, and this cat literally looked like Thelonious Monk. I remember, he says, do you know the blues? And I go, no, I don't know, you know. Then he goes, I remember, he goes, do you know all the things you are? And I go, no, I'm sorry, man, I came here to see if you would teach me. He turns back around to the piano. Piano's completely out of tune. And starts playing. And he went on and on and on and on and on. You could see the sun setting, and I'm literally sitting like this, never brought my arm down. But then when finally I brought it down, I looked and my pants were all wet from sweating, and I never even played one note.
See, here's Lawrence on his untuned piano. My fingers may play an out-of-tune piano, but my ears always hear the perfect note. Not the notes you hear coming out of an out-of-tune piano.
Every week at Columbia Station was basically Lawrence Wheatley's workshop jam sessions. So all of the young musicians back then, we were all learning the repertoire. Lawrence could take any song and play you the whole history of jazz. And then little by little, he would say, now you're getting a lot closer to where we're supposed to be. You know, you need to tweak this here, tweak that there, tweak that there. And little by little, this cat just basically indoctrinated me into the world of jazz. Okay, you see how many things are here that I ain't even finished? Perception of beauty. I wait for the muse to give me something, and when the muse gives me something, then I expound on it. I find a harmony to it, and then I sit and I go, so what do you hear after this? It is the muse who gives you that little boom, that little seed, and then you have to go and cultivate it, put a little water on it, you know, hey, get it a little sunshine, you know, things like that. Maria Rodriguez, my second mother, but the musical mother to so many generations. She saved a lot of cats. She was the muse. She was the muse. So she had her band, which is called Maria y sus Magníficos, comprised at that time of black kids and Latin kids. And she would literally take them and teach them and taught us. She's the one that taught me how to read music. I said, Maria, I can't play that. I can't play those charts, man. I don't even know how to read. I mean, I know how to read. I can spell it out. But when I saw those charts, she goes, Pepe, just come over. We'll work it. And damn it, she didn't. She literally taught me how to break it down. 1 and 2, and she would say, apple, apple, apple. The 3 would be chocolate, chocolate, chocolate.
She cooked rhythms, dropped notes into pots that simmered over a low flame, and then called bass, piano, horn, and drum to the table. Her ear feeding her pen the arrangements that she spiced up her own way. Go over her house, she'd teach you to read that cut time, get you to stop the mimicking, and start to ride.
Right after rehearsal, guess what? There was not one Thursday that she didn't throw down a feast for all of her musicians. Plátanos, you know, rice and beans, whole Puerto Rican, Cuban, and Dominican cuisine. Pernil, we would be playing a jazz song or even one from the Latin repertoire, and she would come back to "Have yourself a merry," and I'm going, "Maria, how we get there?" And she goes, "I don't know, Pepe, but let's just play it again." There, Ricky, Losa, and I realized that something was wrong with Our Lady, our baby. It was really hard to be there till the end. You know, to the point that she would not let me go, and I'd go, "Maria, I have a gig." Because, you know, I'd kneel right there next to her. She couldn't even go upstairs anymore. She would be on the first floor. But yeah, she left us. Yeah, she left us, you know, but with dignity.
In the end, we recognize who we want around us. Bring the loved ones who play the cut time, who listen to the songs until they become a prayer sung.
María, la reina, la magnífica. And then she said, "Pero tú sabes, you can also play like a piano player." She taught me that line. She goes, "Okay, Pepe, I want one chord." And then she goes, that was the first one chord she ever taught me. Grandpa.
The billiard table is gone, and now this room, once filled with a diaspora accented Spanish, liquor, the violence of displacement, is home to music. In one corner, a lion-headed wonder of a bass is set. The workhorse that bends the back of the musician, gig after gig, stands opposite. Both lean into the V of a corner as if in prayer.
Maria Rodriguez and Lawrence Wheatley, and those are some of the figures that basically believed in me and pushed me forward. And by them having a belief in me and pushing me, it gave me more of that impetus to keep working at it and staying out of the riffraff. Because my mother taught me well and my father taught me well, but we got to a point where things could have gone completely awry.
Tell me about your father.
We were at war all our lives. And it wasn't until, wow, don't ask me that. The first time I hit my father was at 13. I literally fucked him up. I hit him so hard that his head went right through the wall. Left an indentation in the wall where his head went into. And then it just, from that point on, it just became World War III. I had a girlfriend that broke my heart at about 19, and I carved out a rose in a piece of wood, and I took it to him, and he was smoking his Chesterfield Kings. I say, oye viejo, man, mira esto aquí. And he looks at it and he goes, it's all right. He says, come back tomorrow. I said, come back tomorrow for what, man? I just want you to look at my, So I came back tomorrow, and the 2 roses that you saw upstairs, he carved those overnight, drunk like a motherfucker. I came the next day, he had rum, cognac, and beer, and hadn't slept a wink. But he finished those 2 roses. They were like awesome. And he called that El Jardín. And from that moment on, he made at least 70, 80 pieces that he gave away. When I turned 25, I went up Mount Pleasant, and I saw him, and I said, yo, my man, I'm 25 today, and I feel like I'm a man or a young man. And you're my father. He was surprised that I even said that. He was like, looked at me like, coño, man, I never heard this motherfucker say father, I asked him for a hug. And he said, oh, man, coño, hijo de puta, que un abrazo de qué, man? I said, listen, my man, if you don't give me a hug, I'm gonna hug your ass right here, right now, man. And I did. And I whispered, I forgive you. Just last week, on a bike ride, I said, I miss you, you motherfucker.
On the walls, the carvings of a father who left marks on a son's skin as unfading as the ones he carved into wood. This is a quiet space now, where daughters grow into instruments of their choosing, and notes gather into a tune that calms the past.
My legacy has been written, I lived it. Ain't nothing to my legacy, but my daughters, there's a lot to them. Nothing I did is really important besides being the father to them. So that's my legacy. In their birthday cards, they always acknowledge, how much my life means to them and how it shaped them. Little do they know that all that is right back to them. So it's this circular thing that keeps on reoccurring over and over and over again, They know that I'm crazy. They know that, papi, tú eres loco, papi. But they also know that there's a serious side of me that very few people see, and they've seen it. And they realize, ooh, there's a little bit more depth to Papi than just this aloof street cat or thinking that he's the street cat or whatever, They've seen that other side, that real quiet side of me, like my father used to do when he didn't drink. He would be smoking a cigarette. and not say a word.
Bring the ones who eat what is served, taking nothing more than memory and keeping it treasured as a tool, played until it's all there is to pass on.